When searching for a good bank, you have to be very discerning, so you don't get one thing and miss out on others. Well, your search is over at First Bank. We offer a variety of products and services made with you in mind. From flexible loans, easy access to cash, bill payments from anywhere in the world, to savings for the little ones. Make that switch today. Contact us to learn more about the many products and services we have designed for your convenience. First Bank, truly the first.
Crime Fighter, the searchlight on crime and criminality. Exclusive interview.
Hello viewers, welcome to Crime Fighters, the Police and You, your number one security program on television. My name is Aisha Tosan Agberibe. Today we'll be taking a look at the social economic consequences of kidnapping and national security. To deliberate with me on these very topical issues are Barrister Justice Ukwegu, a human rights activist, and of course we have Igo Akariga, the editor, Source Magazine. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Crime Fighter Studios.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Alright, let's kick the ball rolling. If you read through the papers today, you'll see that the papers are, awash with crime stories, kidnapping, armed robbery, terrorism. Let me start with you, Justice. What is your take on these very alarming issues I've just talked about?
Well, truly speaking, crime all over the world has been an issue, especially in the recent time. But with particular emphasis on Nigeria, I think we have a peculiar issue, a peculiar, case. Personally, I see that the crime rate in Nigeria today is induced. What I mean by being induced is because I believe personally that people, the youths, we are forced into it. Yes. And I have my tentacles to prove that. But be it as it may, generally speaking.
Let me just take you on there. How do you mean when you say the youths are forced into
yes, yes. They are just saying that an idle man is the devil's workshop, because today in Nigeria the youths are not doing anything. They are not engaged. Every day we keep on having graduates roaming the streets without anything. As I speak to you today, ASU has been on strike for the past 4 months. So what do you expect these youths to do, both the young men and the young ladies? So definitely they have to get themselves busy with something. So it depends whether the positive side or the negative side. That is why I said it's induced, because a situation where somebody, a youth, a full-fledged youth will graduate and come out and stay for years, nothing to do. You don't expect him to go and jump into the galleys or into the auction and die because he was born a Nigerian. No, he must look for somewhere to survive.
Okay, Igo, what he just said, does it justify for any person to get involved in crime if you're not engaged, if you don't have a job?
Well, I would say that there is no absolute justification for anybody to get involved in crime. Those that are seized as a result of kidnapping, they have a right to free movement, to existence, to their livelihood. Now, those who seize others for ransom or to demand money, right, they could plead justification that they are unemployed. Of course, employment is a global challenge. It's not only afflicting Nigeria. But I also think that our leaders have a responsibility here. If you want to stem an ugly trend, you must try and identify the roots of that problem. I think the root, like he said, is situated around the issues of unemployment. So, to a very large extent, it is, I think that for those who argue that unemployment is the very basis for the criminality that we're having today, I would tend to agree with them, because if you look at the age bracket of those who are involved in these criminal activities, usually they have between the ages of 18 and 35, 40. And those are the youths. That's the youth bracket. So I think it's a major challenge, no doubt about that.
All right. Are you satisfied with the approach the security agencies are deploying to fight this trend of crimes, particularly kidnapping and terrorism?
As far as I'm concerned, they've not done anything. Which approach? You know, is it today? I'm sorry to say this, but the truth has to be said. Even government agencies are even paying ransom to free their people working in any government parastatal from the hands of these kidnappers. So we are all guilty of the same thing. So who is fooling who? Do you understand it? So I cannot say, let me tell you the truth. Security is not a one-man business. I don't believe that somebody will be an specialist in security matters. It is everybody's business. Yes, because when you secure yourself, you're securing the community, you're securing the state, you're securing the nation. And that is why if you have a database, for example, in this country we don't have a database. Everybody look at what is happening in our ports. Go to our ports and all the rest, go to the airports, go to all these places. You see how people, illegal immigrants, are entering this country on every seconds. So no database to identify anybody. Provided you can speak one language, either also Yoruba or anything that looks like Nigerian language, you are assumed to be a Nigerian. And that is why we're having some of these serious security challenges. So no database. So I don't see what the security agents will come out today and say they have achieved. They have not achieved anything. In fact, they have not started. Because going by the trend of things in this country, if it continues, we are even going to record worse scenarios between now and 2015.
Yeah, Igor, let me take you up on this issue that he raised, the issue of paying ransom to kidnappers. We're aware that the Minister of Finance, the mother was kidnapped and ransom was paid. The sum of 15 million naira was paid. We're also aware of other, very prominent citizens. The very recent one is his colleague in the bar, Chief Mike Ozekume. What is your take on this? Because it's like, to me, I believe that when they pay this ransom, it emboldens these kidnappers to continue in this illicit trade. The last suspect we interviewed had to do with the boy who kidnapped the mother of the minister. And he was so very bold to say to us that they made 15 million, they were paid 15 million naira, and thereafter they went after other people because they now see that the rich Nigerians are quick to paying this ransom to them without, much ado. What is your take on this? Should they continue to pay ransom? I recall the police advising against it. What's your take?
Well, it's a difficult decision for anyone to take, as it were. If you look at the history of kidnapping, it started with the seizure of oil workers in the Niger Delta. Because for oil workers at that time, there was a lot of money. So their understanding of taking oil workers was that once you take them, of course there's money to be paid by the multinationals, and they were paying. So that is the very basis and the fundamentals of the history of kidnapping in Nigeria. And so once the oil workers improved security around them, it became difficult, to take them. And these guys are already aware that there's so much money. They are used to the luxury of staying in big hotels, spending big money without really laboring for it. Sometimes when they go for these kidnapping rounds, maybe they lose one or two of their members. They still go ahead and take care of their wives, their families, and they have much money. Millions, we're talking about millions here. So which work will a young graduate do, for example, that you will get that kind of money? Don't also forget that the world has moved towards a capitalist-driven economy. That is to say that unlike the days where our fathers were at work, where you are engaged in pensionable jobs, now there are no pensionable work anywhere. All the work that you can find have been outsourced. And so when you even get one, the day you stop working, that is the end. You don't look up to anything. So it is really a challenge. The government must look inwards. When people are taken, when kidnap cases occur, the relatives are worried. For every day that passes, people are worried. And don't forget, these kidnappers sometimes kill their victims. So to prove a point that if you do not pay on time, we will kill your father, we will kill your mother, and nothing will happen. And like I said about our security agencies, the issue of accumulating a sustainable database is a huge challenge. We put so much money, we do not put money where our mouth is. All right, because we must also realize that the entire purpose of government, as enshrined in the Constitution, is for the security and welfare of citizens. Once you cannot provide for the welfare of your citizens, you cannot provide for their security, then of course that government has a big challenge in its hands. So paying ransom, it will be difficult to stop, because one, the security agencies do not have sufficient capacity and wherewithal to engage in proactive security. That is stopping them before they even take their victims. So once the victims have been taken, of course Nigeria has a vast sprawling area. When I was reading the account of we were the very first media organization to interview Barrister Michael Zekome, and he says that you see a common account that these guys who took him were speaking good, flawless English. Most of them are graduates, and so they deployed their intellect. The intellect they should have used in serving the country, they deploy those intellect for criminal activity.
Now that you mentioned Michael Zekune, let me just quickly take you up on this. Of course, he was a victim of kidnapping, and he came out to be advocating for amnesty for them. These kidnappers killed those policemen that were trying to rescue him. His call for amnesty, was it justified?
I fought that. I fought the call for amnesty. How many groups, how many criminals are we going to offer and give amnesty to in this country? If a country moves away from enforcing its laws to pardoning criminals, then we are sinking deeper into the abyss. Because there's a lot of danger in, when the Niger Delta militants started, the government took on them. It became obvious that government is not going to win that war, because Nigeria was losing so much OSS and all that. So the late president Umaru Yar'Adua advocated amnesty, and of course they got amnesty. But if you look back, it has not completely stemmed oil pillages in the Niger Delta region. Now, but yet there's an amnesty in place. Now, if you now say give amnesty to kidnappers, then of course armed robbers will ask for amnesty. You give them amnesty. Unemployed people will say give us amnesty so that we can get money from government. So you have to give amnesty to all Nigerians. It's already a failed state. Don't forget that this whole story about Nigeria being a failed state, maybe about 2015, though I don't believe in it, that was the prediction of John Negroponte. He is saying that he's an American security expert who they took a study of Africa, and then because they use indices to measure the success of a state. What constitutes a state is the ability to provide for to meet citizens' demand. Now, if government, but rather than amnesty, I would think that the government should consider a social security framework for the unemployed. If you have a school certificate, for example, maybe 10,000-15,000 naira every month. If you have ND, NC, there should be a range of allowances you can get if you are a graduate, and then government must then begin to drive its infrastructure and institutions so that employment can be created. So that these people that are beneficiaries of social security networks, safety nets, can get jobs, and then they begin to pay what they have benefited. That is a better.
What is your view of this amnesty? Because you human rights lawyers actually started this amnesty issue, giving amnesty to everybody, and also promoting the human rights of these suspects. If you look at the Akpo incident of last week, and you pick the papers today, where the same suspect who kidnapped Ozekume was said to have been arrested, he was actually asking for amnesty way back before they arrested him. He had the effrontery to tell the governor of Delta State that he should be granted amnesty. And you know, this, like you rightly said, they are all educated. I may not use the word highly educated, but they are learned. They understand.
No, they are not learned. They're educated.
They're educated. Okay, you're a lawyer. The lawyers will also say, you always say that you guys are educated. All right. So what's your view on this?
The truth is this. Let me try to put a distinction or a dichotomy between the two issues raised here. You see, if we look at the history of the Niger Delta, let us not forget, if we want to tell ourselves the truth, let us not forget that the Niger Delta people were fighting for a cause. And what was that?
Yeah, but were they justified to kidnap?
No, I'm coming. What was the force they were fighting? They were saying 90 to 95% of resources of this country is coming from us. I'm coming. You understand the thing? Now, but be it as it may, nothing to show for it.
If we all,
he's
a Niger Delta.
I know.
If we all decide to kidnap.
No, remember, this struggle did not start today.
Kenso Riwa started.
Fine, he started as far back as Kenso Riwa. Yeah. But it's unfortunate.
Kenso Riwa did not.
I know.
It actually started from the day Isaac Adaka.
Yeah, but he didn't take.
I know. It's unfortunate that the youths of nowadays now came out because the population is growing. They are advancing. And I said, since people cannot listen to us, let us get what belongs to us by force.
Yeah, but amnesty was granted.
No, I'm coming. I'm talking about before amnesty was granted. Okay. And he said something. To an extent, it's true. Since amnesty has been granted, at least somehow it has slowed down. There are no two ways about it. Now, but rather he said something. That was the origin of kidnapping. Mm-hmm. Other people now learned from it and started kidnapping other areas. Then you said something. You said, is that a justification? Amnesty and all the rest. But we forgot one thing. In law, once a crime is committed, there are two things you must prove: the mens rea and the actus reus. The mens rea is the intention, while the actus reus is the act itself. And you cannot convict somebody without proving the mens rea. That is the intention. The act is there. I read one judgment written by Oputa when he was in the Supreme Court. A man killed the mother, and when this matter went to High Court, he was convicted. The matter went to Court of Appeal, he was convicted. When the matter went to Supreme Court, thank God Oputa said no. That the court failed to do one particular thing. What made this young man to have committed such an indelible crime? Look at the word, indelible crime. That the matter should go back for a trial. Let them find the... He added by saying, is it right for people to go about killing their mother? So what we are saying here is this: the intention of committing these crimes. Let me tell you the truth, we're all human beings, we're not stones. Nobody likes to suffer. Most times people resort to violence because it is the last resort. And that is what we have been advocating. When we talk about human rights and when we talk about this, we are not saying that there is any moral justification for you to go into crime or all the rest. But like what Michael Ozokomo said, he is soliciting for amnesty. But he's wrong. He's not getting it right. Maybe he doesn't want to tell the government the truth. Let him come out openly as a senior citizen of this country, as an SAN, as somebody who had held one or two positions, and tell the government the truth of what to do. And what do we do? Like he said, social security will solve all these things. Once people are engaged, if you travel outside this country, if you go to the Western world today, there are centers you eat free food. There are places, once you're a graduate, they pay you. Why can't you do that here? And secondly, how do you feel as a young Nigerian? You graduated how many years ago, and somebody who is nobody, who just came out from primary school or secondary school, became a counselor, and at the end of the day you saw him buying houses in South Africa and United States of America. They should make this government less attractive. So that is why today everybody wants to be a politician, because that has become the fastest way to make money.
There's also this allegation that most of these boys who today turned criminals were boys who worked for the politicians.
Of course.
And
remember what happened in River State. Even this issue of kidnapping and this and that, they were boys that were armed during the election. They were armed with arms, and you cannot remove it from them. And that is why you cannot give a dog a bone, and the dog has not finished the bone, you want to collect it from it. It's not possible. It will reverse back on you. All these boys, they have used them and dump them. Look at what is happening now. I don't know whether you go out today, seek for public opinion of Nigerians. There's no money anywhere in circulation now. Everybody in this country now is crying, except the politicians. But I bet you, by this time 2014, there will be excess money in circulation. Why? Because of 2015 election. That is when they will now remember that there are Nigerians. That is when they will remember that there are area boys who need 5,000. They will go to under bridge and share money to them, and they will tell them to alley. And after that, they will forget them again. for the next 4 years. Why won't this crime continue?
Crime Fighters, promoting security consciousness. Police Brief.
Hello viewers, welcome to Crime Fighters Police Brief, and these are the headlines. Police arrest 5 persons for child trafficking. Police officers promoted. Details shortly.
Police Brief.
The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 5, comprising Edo, Delta and Bayelsa states, Hashimu Agungun, Wednesday last week embarked on a 2-day tour of police formations under his zone, while addressing officers and men of the Bayelsa State Police Command. The AIG urged them to key into the transformation agenda of the Inspector General of Police, MD Abubakar, to enable them benefits from the various welfare schemes put in place by current police administration. The Imo State Police Command has arrested 5 persons in connection with child trafficking and abduction. The suspects were said to have abducted a 3-year-old boy from his home in Oguta in Imo State. According to the Imo State Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Musa Kastina, the 3-year-old boy was alleged to have been bought by one Dr. Onyekuru, a medical director of God's Will Divine Hospital, for the sum of 250,000 naira and resold to one Mrs. Chukuka for the sum of 500,000 naira by the said medical director. Those arrested by the police aside the medical director are Ngozi Chukuka, Hagai Enomeka, Oluchi Maduka and Nelson Okoli. In an effort to motivate officers and men of the Nigerian police, no fewer than 39 senior police officers have been elevated by the Police Service Commission following the recommendation of the Inspector General of Police, MD Abubakar. The promotion, which was released early in the week, had 4 commissioners of police move to the rank of Assistant Inspector General of Police. Those elevated are Bala M. Nasarawa, former Commissioner of Police, Anambra; Edgar Nanakumo, who is presently acting as AIG in charge of Zone 12; Muhammad J. Ghana, former Commissioner of Police, Special Anti-Robbery Squad; and Sabo Ringim Ibrahim, the officer in charge of Border Patrol. Also, the Police Service Commission equally promoted 8 Deputy Commissioners of Police, 7 Assistant Commissioners of Police, and 20 Chief Superintendents of Police to their next rank. In a press statement signed by the Deputy Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Frank Umba, the Police High Command similarly redeployed 61 other senior officers as part of measures to ensure effective and efficient fight against crime and criminality in the country. Those moved include 6th Commissioner of Police, Sherifat Disu Olajoku, who is redeployed from Western Port Authority Command to C Department as Commissioner of Police Force Headquarters. CP Ambrose O. Aisabo takes over Western Port Authority Command, Lagos. CP Irimiya Yerima of the Eastern Port Authority is replaced with CP Tijani Baba, who until his posting was Deputy Commissioner of Police at the Kaduna Police College, while CP John Okpadokun is moved as CP PMF to the newly created Marine Command in Lagos. DCP Karama H. Azan becomes the Commissioner of Police Mobile Force. The reassignment of senior police officers equally affected 26 Deputy Commissioners of Police and 29 Assistant Commissioners of Police. And on global updates, a 15-year-old boy who last Friday robbed a branch of Barclays Bank of the sum of £2,000 with a fake gun in Liverpool, northwest of England, has been charged to the youth court where he pleaded guilty to the offence. The presiding judge, Ian Lomax, said the boy had acted almost as if he was playing a video game. The judge insisted the crime is a serious matter. He said, it is an armed robbery but not in the conventional sense. He further stated that the act of the 15-year-old is a bizarre, a surreal case of a young man almost acting like a real-life action-packed video game. The mother of the teenager had turned him over to the police after finding a stack of cash and a fake gun in the bedroom of the teenage boy. And that's all on Crime Fighters Police Brief. Thanks for watching.
Crime Fighters.
When searching for a good bank, you have to be very discerning, so you don't get one thing and miss out on others. Well, your search is over at First Bank. We offer a variety of products and services made with you in mind. From flexible loans, easy access to cash, bill payments from anywhere in the world, to savings for the little ones. Make that switch today. Contact us to learn more about the many products and services we have designed for your convenience. First Bank, truly the first.